The 2026 AFCON is officially here and I am extremely excited. With that being said, obviously the AFCON does start this Sunday, so in today's video I'm going to be giving you guys my group stage predictions on each group and predicting which teams I think will advance to the round of 16 or sadly will be eliminated. Within the next month I will be releasing loads of AFCON content as well as World Cup content, so if you guys enjoy these prediction videos, remember to subscribe down below as I'm trying to hit 6,000 subscribers before the end of this year. It only takes 1 second to subscribe and it helps me so much, so if you enjoy the content, please don't forget to subscribe. But without further ado, let's get right into these group stage predictions. Starting off with the first group, we have Morocco, Mali, Zambia, and Comoros. I'm going to start off with Morocco because obviously this tournament is being held in Morocco and they're 100% the favorites to win. I think if Morocco get eliminated anywhere before the semifinals, that is a huge failure. There's a lot of pressure being put on them. Obviously in the last World Cup they finished in the semifinals and now they are going to be playing in the 2026 World Cup, and I think this AFCON will tell us a lot about this Moroccan team. In my opinion, Morocco have some of the best young talent in Africa. If you look at in the midfield, they have players like Ben Seguir, players like Akomach, players like El Anawi, and if you move on to the attack, you see players like Saibari, you see players like El Kanous, Kemsdin Talbi. They have so many incredible youngsters and this is the perfect opportunity for them to prove themselves on one of the biggest stages in the world. Obviously, if Hakimi isn't fit for this AFCON, it will be a big loss because he's a very important piece in this Moroccan team. But even with their other players, with the incredible defensive players they have, their midfield, their attack, they also have some very experienced players. They should definitely finish first place in their group, winning all 3 games. Moving on to the other teams in this group, Zambia, I don't feel like will really challenge any of the teams. I feel like, yes, they have a few good attacking players, but other than that, they don't really have a good enough squad to compete. And in recent years, they haven't performed very good at all. So I don't think Zambia have any chance. I think they'll finish in 4th place. Between Mali and Comoros, it is very close, but in my opinion, I think Mali are the better team. They obviously have some very good players, especially in the midfield. And we see some players of Malian descent playing in the Premier League, in the Liga. They have players all across Europe's top 5 leagues. So I think Mali should finish in 2nd place with Comoros finishing in 3rd place. Moving on to Group B, we have Egypt, South Africa, Angola, and Zimbabwe. I'm going to start off with South Africa because in my opinion, they have a really good team and I feel like a lot of people aren't rating them as highly as they should be rated. Yes, South Africa for the last decade haven't really been the best team, but I feel like within the last couple of years and especially this year, they look to have a very good team. We saw in the World Cup qualifiers that they finished 1st place in the group ahead of some other powerhouses like Nigeria and Benin, and they were fantastic. They were winning a lot of games, scoring many goals. They score a lot of goals. They have a very good attack and I think they should definitely finish 1st place in this group. If you look at Angola, obviously they were very strong in the previous AFCON and they do have a pretty good team. We saw them score many goals in the AFCON 2023, but recently they did part ways with their long-term manager who was managing them for I think 5 or 6 years, and they have hired a new manager, and in my opinion they just don't really look like the same team. Obviously their new manager Patrice Baumel did manage Ivory Coast back in 2020 for a couple years, so he does have some AFCON experience. But with that being said, I'm not sure if they're going to be able to finish 2nd in this group. In my opinion, 2nd place will be Egypt. Now, Egypt recently have not been good, and in the Arab Cup, they were horrible. They didn't even win a game, and in their last 5 matches, they're winless. They haven't won a single game. But I still feel like Egypt in the attack have good enough quality to finish in 2nd place. Now defensively, it may be a problem for them, but in the attack, I think they should score enough goals to finish in 2nd place. And in last place, I do think it will be Zimbabwe. I feel like Zimbabwe are probably one of the worst African teams in this AFCON. No disrespect to them, but I think they will finish in last place. Moving into Group C, we have Nigeria, Tunisia, Uganda, and Tanzania. In my opinion, right off the bat, I think Tanzania are definitely the poorest team in this group. I think they should finish in last place, and I'll be very surprised if they even get a point. If we look at Nigeria under Eric Shell, obviously they look like a better team, and compared to earlier on this year, they have been performing much better in recent games, but they still have a lot to be desired. Obviously, there's so many problems with the Nigerian FA. There's so many problems, and even with some of the players, some of them don't perform good enough on the biggest stage in the AFCON and like they did in the World Cup qualifiers. Nigeria, in my opinion, have the best attack in Africa. They have so many incredible attackers with Osimhen, with Boniface, with Ademola Lookman. They have so many incredible players, Samuel Chukwueze, but a lot of them don't perform in the AFCON. I don't know why that is, but if you look at their attack, Osimhen, yes, in a lot of games he does perform very good, but players like Ademola Lookman, they really need to step up. In recent games, we saw some great performances by Nigeria. We saw them beat Benin 4-0. Then they beat Gabon 4-1, which was very good by them. But then in the final match in the World Cup qualifiers against DR Congo, they fumbled. They did not play good. They didn't play good in the attack, and they ended up losing the game on penalties, and now they have missed out on a second World Cup in a row. Tunisia, in my opinion, are the only team in this group that will challenge Nigeria to that first place spot. As Uganda, yes, they have an okay team, but I don't think they'll be able to challenge for the top two. Tunisia, on the other hand, they have some very good youngsters, and I feel like in recent years, they have steadily been building up to being a pretty decent team in these AFCON competitions. But in my opinion, I still think Nigeria will finish in first place, Tunisia in second place, followed by Uganda and Tanzania in last place. Moving on to Group D, we have Senegal, DR Congo, Benin, and Botswana. I'm going to start off by saying Botswana, I think, is probably the worst team in this AFCON. Once again, no disrespect to Botswana, but I think they will definitely finish in last place. But the other three teams are some very, very good teams. And in my opinion, this is looking like the group of death. Obviously, we saw Benin in the World Cup qualifiers as they were in the same group as Nigeria and South Africa. And for a lot of the World Cup qualifiers, they were sitting pretty comfortably in second place, and at one point it did look like they were going to go to the World Cup. Now obviously they did bottle it in the end, especially losing that game 4-0 against Nigeria, but I still think Benin are a pretty strong team. But you have to admit that the two powerhouses in this group are Senegal and DR Congo, and surprisingly enough, we've seen them match up against each other multiple times in the last year as they were in the same World Cup qualifying group. And DR Congo definitely started off the World Cup qualifying much better than Senegal did, as Senegal weren't performing that good for the first few games. And I actually thought they might bottle it and not make it into the World Cup. But even though they didn't start off that good, they ended off incredibly strong. They were playing some incredible games towards the last few games of the World Cup qualification. And at the current moment, I think they definitely look like one of the better teams in Africa. Obviously, Senegal did win the 2021 AFCON with Aliou Cisse, but now he has left and they have hired Pape Thiaw. Now, I'm not sure if he's the right man for this job. He does look like in recent matches, he's getting his team to play much better football. But I think this AFCON will be a very big indicator on whether he is the man for the future of Senegal or whether he's not the right person. Now, I need to talk a little bit about DRC because I love DR Congo. I'm a big fan of their team and I will be supporting them throughout this AFCON. Their fans are absolutely incredible. And I think every game they play, the vibes and the energy is just fantastic. It's amazing. And I will say that in recent years, DR Congo are really improving. If you look at them throughout the last 10-20 years, they haven't been the best team, but recently they have been fantastic. The FA is getting much better. A lot of players are choosing to represent Congo nowadays, and I think they can definitely finish first place in this group. They will be a very strong team and they can definitely make it to the quarterfinals, maybe even the semifinals as well. So in my opinion, this will definitely be between Senegal and DR Congo to see who finishes in first place. As of now, I am going to say that Senegal finished in first and Congo finished in second, but you never know. It could change 100%. And in third place, I will go with Benin, with Botswana finishing in last place. Moving on to Group E, we have Algeria, Burkina Faso, Equatorial Guinea, and Sudan. In my opinion, this is another very, very strong group. We have a lot of very good teams in this group. And yes, some national teams like Sudan and Equatorial Guinea haven't been performing that good this year, but they are still very strong teams. In my opinion, the team that will finish in last place will be Sudan, as this year they just haven't been that good. If you look at them in 2023 and 2024, they were a very scary team. They were playing some great football, but this year they've been horrible. They've only gotten one win in 2025. They have not been good at all. They will definitely finish in last place. Equatorial Guinea are another team that haven't been good this year, but if you remember in the last AFCON, they were fantastic. They finished first place in the group ahead of Nigeria and the eventual winners, Ivory Coast. And we saw their striker Nsue be arguably the best goal scorer in that competition. We saw him score hat tricks. He was scoring against Ivory Coast. He was scoring in almost every game they play. Now, obviously, there is a few problems with the FA of Equatorial Guinea, and if they resolve these problems, I think they have a good chance to make it out of the group. But at the current moment, I'm going to put them in third place. Now, Burkina Faso, in my opinion, are definitely another very strong team. Every single AFCON, they always seem to perform good, and they do have some very, very good players, especially on the defensive end. But in my opinion, I do think Algeria will edge it over Burkina Faso. Obviously, this tournament's being played in Morocco, which is the neighbors of Algeria. They're right beside each other. This is almost going to be a home tournament for Algeria, because you already know in every single Algerian game, it's going to be loaded with Algerians. All the Algerian fans are going to be at this tournament. So they do have a big advantage with that. And with their team, yes, maybe they haven't been the best in recent AFCONs. Obviously, they have got knocked out in the last 2 group stages in the AFCON, which is very, very poor considering how good they were in the 2019 AFCON. But this year, I do think they need to get revenge. They need to perform good. They need to show the world that they're not this team that gets knocked out in the group stages every AFCON. They are a very strong African team, a very historic African nation, and they should definitely finish first place in this group. And finally, the last group is Group F, where we have Ivory Coast, Cameroon, Gabon, and Mozambique. I'm going to start with Mozambique because obviously they're in a very hard group. We saw Gabon in the World Cup qualifiers scoring loads and loads of goals, and they have definitely arguably the best attack in this group. We've seen Cameroon recently where they still look like a decent team. Even though they are having a lot of problems, they are still a good team. And obviously Ivory Coast defensively may be the best defensive team in the AFCON. So in my opinion, Mozambique stand no chance in this group. I think they will definitely finish in last place. But in terms of the other teams, I think this will be very interesting, because if you look at Ivory Coast, I don't think they've chosen their best squad. They've left out players like Adingra, who in the last AFCON were absolutely fantastic. And Cameroon, on the other hand, under Samuel Eto'o, they look a little bit inconsistent. I'm not sure if Eto'o is making all the right decisions, and it could cost them in this AFCON. Gabon, on the other hand, are a very good team attackingly. I already mentioned that they score loads and loads of goals, but defensively, they are a big problem. So for that reason, I think Gabon will finish in 3rd place. In my opinion, Cameroon will finish in 2nd place, and Ivory Coast, obviously, they are the current AFCON winners. And yes, I think they still have a few problems with their team, but I still think they should have a pretty good tournament and should finish in 1st place. And that's the end of this video. Those were my 2026 AFCON group stage predictions. If you guys agree with my predictions, remember to leave a comment down below. And obviously, if you disagree, remember to leave your group stage predictions down below, and I'll be sure to reply to every single comment. If you're excited for this AFCON and you're excited for all the upcoming videos where I'll be giving you guys my knockout stage predictions as well, remember to leave a like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and stay tuned for more videos.